We are on to the color rough portion of the project and creative process. So color roughs are used to plan out what will be your final colors. I want you to create two very simple color palettes and use that to kind of block in the major colors of the scene. I want you to do two options and then choose one that you like the best for your final color. I want you to show me that you understand different color relationships and creating a harmonious color palette when creating these color roughs. So these are all the different options that we talked about in class. So monochromatic, complementary, warm colors, cool colors, warm versus cool, desaturated, saturated, primary, secondary, any sort of color combination like that. So you don't. So what I would suggest here is just kind of creating a quick little color scheme. So for this, let's do complementary for one of them, and for this one, let's try. Let's go warm / saturated for this one. So complementary. So what we can do: blue and orange, yellow purple, or yellow green, or red and green. Let's try purple yellow since we did yellow and green in class. Or we did orange and blue in class. So I'm gonna come up here with a few different yellows for the yellow part of the project. Ooh, let me turn up this opacity. So here's a few different yellows I can use. It goes all the way to these pale yellows. And then the complementary of yellow is purple. So here's some purples I can use. I want some desaturated purples, some darker purples. And so when you're choosing colors, I don't want you to color for reality. Like trees are green, sky is blue, rocks are gray. It's better to color for mood. So something that creates an emotional impact in your viewer. So warm, saturated. So warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. So I'm just going to start putting a bunch of warm colors here that I can choose from. And warm / saturated, I don't want it to be overly saturated, but I want it to be kind of brighter colors and more exciting, basically. So the more saturated the color, the more exciting it is for the most part. So now for all of these, I want to create two quick color palettes. So I can start and lay down. Usually you want to put down a pretty desaturated color first. So I'll start with that. And get rid of the white should be your first step. Get rid of the white. All right, so let's work on this complementary one. So again, this does not need to be overly detailed or finished. You're just blocking in big areas of color to see how it'll look. So usually with complementary, I choose one color to be the background and one color to be the foreground. So in this case, I'll use yellow for the sky and shades of purple for everything else. So at this stage, I am not worried about staying in the line. So I just took my line art that I did on the previous video. So I have it from right here, and I just copy and pasted it so I could see the two color options next to each other. Alright, we'll get some nice purples in here. I'll even use purple down here for the trees and the mountains. Alright. So I just separated sky and land, foreground, and background here with these two color palettes. And you know, I like how these are looking. Purple is usually a pretty sophisticated look to a color palette. So I like to use that. So some of this purple I want to be a little darker and probably a little more desaturated. So I'll darken up this stuff here. Let's darken up these as well. Darken up the trees. So trees in reality aren't purple. But I don't care about that. I'm trying to make it interesting and make it bold, make it stand out, make it unique. I'm not coloring for accuracy. You see here, I'm like personally, I start to get worried about, staying in the lines and stuff like that. But really, at this stage, it doesn't matter. And I'm just using this magic wand tool. Most programs have some sort of tool like this, so I'm just going to select all the purple, and then I can color sections of that darker. So I usually do her hair and clothes a little darker. Separate the shoes here. And that's, getting close to a color rough. I might do a few more details here. I'm going to make this one, that hill further away, a little bit lighter. So things that are further away are a lighter value, things that are closer are a darker value. I think that's looking kind of cool right now. So now let's try the warm saturated. So I'm going to start the same way. Just separate foreground and background with value. So I'm just using a darker orange right here to start. Okay, and then I can use I could use a yellowish for the sky again. That seems a little too saturated. There we go. Something like this. Maybe we use slightly redder color here for the hills and trees and mountains. Okay, that red looks a little too saturated, so I just selected this red here with my magic wand tool, and I'm going to go Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and I want to turn down the saturation. I don't want that to be quite as intense there. I said warm saturated. The saturated look is getting a little too intense for me. So, I mean, these will change as you start to put colors down. You'll be like, oh, maybe I want a cool color right here. So that's okay. Things change. I can put a small saturated color on the character. So maybe her top here is a bright red. Maybe her hair is bright red. Whatever. I can start to get some color, some of that saturation in there. No, it's not quite right. Darker. No, darker. Darker hair. There we go. This mountain side, this can be kind of a grayish. Big shapes, big shapes should be desaturated. That's why I desaturated the sky a little bit. What else can I do here? Probably make these pants a darker value, maybe a darker red. I ended up with a yellow sky on both of these, that's fine. Maybe I will select the sky here, and then Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and I'll just want it to be quite as yellow. There we go. A little more orange mix in there looks kind of nice. These clouds, I want these to be a lighter value. So I just did Command U, which is a shortcut to bring up hue saturation. I use that a lot. And that's, pretty close for what I want in terms of color roughs. It lets me see the color palette, have the major colors and major values in there. And then I get to judge. You can send them to me if you want feedback. You can ask friends or family members which one they like better. But you're not going to know which one works better until you put the colors down and you can see it and you can judge it. So I'm going to stop this video and sit with this for a second. Then I'll make my decision. In the next video, I will lay down the final colors and show you guys how to do that as well. So which one do you guys like better? Do you like number 1, number 2 better? one isn't really better. It's kind of which one fits the story more, which colors are more harmonious. So we'll see in the next video which one I end up choosing.